What's up, soldiers? Thanks for joining me on this video where we are going to cover how to throw a sandbag for height in Strongman, okay? So two important things to remember when we're doing this. First off is that we are using both our back, hips, and our legs together. So this is not a hinge like a deadlift isolated. It's also not a squat up and down. We're going to use a combination of those two to generate max power, force, and momentum to get the best throw possible. All right. And then the second thing to remember is that your eyes and your fingertips, where those finish, that's your follow through angle. All right. So wherever we are throwing, eyes and fingertips are going to lead the direction you want to go. So if I'm looking straight up here, this is vertical, the bag is going to go straight up. Same thing. If we release early, the bag's going to fling out that way. But what we want to do, since we're throwing up and over a crossbar that's going to be behind us, is finish with a little bit of extension up and back, a little overextension there. Now this applies too when we're throwing for distance. Check out my other video about this one. Is that a lot of these elements are the same, but instead of that finish and follow through slightly up and back, we want to create that finish even there, back, and get a nice big throw at a 45 to 60 degree angle for distance. All right, so back to that first point where we want to use our back and our legs together. What a lot of people do incorrectly is they use strictly a hinge. So that's just butt back here without much of a knee bend, and they go to throw up, but they're not getting their legs into it whatsoever. So what you want to do is set up like a hinge, but when it's time to release, we're going to use that vertical plane. We're going to use a knee bend to generate some leg power and create that vertical motion. So it's going to be a hinge first, and then we're going to kind of dip down from our knees, low, 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 to finish and follow through with the sandbag throw. All right, so what some people will do is kind of up to you. You can either kind of do a one motion pull in, like a hike, and then go, or do 1 to 2 swings, like a kettlebell swing hip hinge, just to find the right groove and positioning, and then use that drop, dip, and release. So I'm going to show you the second way first. That's going to be like 2 to 3 hinges, just to kind of get the groove, feel nice and comfortable before we go into that one motion. So again, use that knee bend when it's time to release. So just getting used to it here. 1, 2, I'll do a third, and here's that knee bend. Awesome. All right, so that was a pretty good throw. End up about 7 meters or so behind me, but that was going to be a good, nice arc up and over, right? But you don't have to do that like multiple like groove situation. In fact, it's probably better if you can train the ability to do these quickly so you can score points, especially when there are split times for individual bags, and tie break points really make a difference. Okay, so what I'm going to show you next is I'm going to run up to the bag, hop back, and use that as my momentum builder. Something like Brian Shaw is really good on doing this with the kegs. And what we're looking essentially is to create that hinge that we just did while standing in place, but jump back here, swing, and then go right into our release. All right, so here's what that looks like in practice. And again, this is usually for lighter bags, but try it out and see what you're good with. All right, so we'll start from a few feet back. Typically you have like a hand on an upright or a bar, so they'll call you down. 3, 2, 1, go. I'm gonna grab the bag. Okay, so simple as. Now the other way that we're going to do kind of a one motion here, sort of, if that's the right term for it, it's called quick release, is grabbing it and then running back. So this works pretty well with heavier bags where you need to be a little closer to the bar. So I'm actually going to bring this a little further up. So what you'd want to do is run up, grab the bag, then as we're coming, think about kicking it out in front. Small little wide step just to get your feet in the right position and go. But as we're moving back, we're going to get that arc out in front just so we can go right into the swing to build the momentum to send our hips right back into it for the throw. Okay, so I'll just kind of show that here. Again, you would grab the bag from up front, go here. Now what we're trying to do, since this is an explosive movement, is always jump into it if possible. When we get heavier, your force is just not going to have enough to do that. We're trying to release from the ground every time. Good full triple extension. So that's hips up, knees extended, and ankles extended on every throw. Now remember, hips and eyes lead the direction you want to go. So when we're throwing over an actual crossbar, then we want to aim slightly above where that beam is that we want to break. We don't want to aim at it. We want to aim slightly over it so we can get that parabola up and over. And now a tip too that I just learned from Mitch Hooper after watching the Giants Live World Strongman Open is he was talking about he doesn't have a crossbar to train at home. So what he does is train with distances. So he knows if he's 3 meters in front of the post and the bag lands 6 meters behind him on the throw, then he's getting the right trajectory up and over. So this is actually the first day that I'm ever doing it, but I thought it was a great idea. I've marked out cone to cone is 6 meters. I might get close, I might not. But this also, remember, changes depending on the weight of the bag that you were throwing. So this doesn't always work with every single one, but it's kind of a good way to think about how you're going to get that arc up and over. It should land pretty evenly here. So just for example here, I'm going to try to go up and over. Well, that would have cleared all day, but when it's heavier, you know, that's kind of what we're aiming for. So anyways, that's how to throw a bag for height. You can kind of use any equipment here. I tend to like a little bit of knee sleeves. I tend to like to use lifters or like a hard-soled shoe to get a lot of power into the ground. That's that. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them below. Please hit the like button. Click subscribe to the channel. For more Strongman tips, join clubstrongman.com, my private community, all things Strongman, educational technique reviews, pro Strongman talk, and special guest appearance Q&As from pros, coaches, and athletes. Have a championship day.